Hello.
Hercules used to be a regular until Colin took her to pieces, and for 10 years
It's me again.
dreaming of bringing her back. We've got just 10 days to give Colin
Today
the
we've got
biggest
us
surprise of
a
his life. We're not going to let
Pure
him see
Marquis
Hercules until we've restored
1222
her original
steam
memory,
locomotive.
just as she
It
would have
doesn't
looked in
run very well,
1923.
so
It's an awesome
we're gonna fix that
task,
today.
so we've enlisted the help of this man.
Alright.
Andy Melrose is Colin's friend and probably the most respected steam engineer in the country.
Oh, that's hot. I can let my dog in.
Then Axel's strength will be stretched to the limit. Jerry's attention to detail will be put under the microscope, and Claire will need to keep her cool when things get hot. Over the next 10 working days, they'll have to remold steel parts for the tender, hot rivet the steel plates together, fit the front and rear rollers,
Sorry about that.
engine and steering mechanism,
I had to let my dog in.
the boiler.
Okay. First,
When they've done all this, they'll have
you
to
want to take the
satisfy
bottom
this
off.
man, a government-approved
Got a screw
boiler
here,
inspector.
here,
Steam may be
here,
romantic,
and here.
but it's dangerous too. And only if he's happy that she's safe, will
3.0
to go to the fair.
screwdriver flathead.
Of Hercules' 2,000 bits, just one is beyond repair. Unfortunately, it's one of the biggest. The tender, where the driver stands and where the spare coal and water is stored. The tender is made from steel plates ½ an inch thick, which are moulded into neat curves before being riveted together with ½ inch steel rivets. When Hercules was built, parts like this would be heated in huge forges, then pressed into shape using massive hydraulic presses.
Yeah, the engine needs to be cleaned.
So the squad are going to have to fall back on techniques that date from the dawn of the Industrial Revolution. They'll have to beat the parts into shape by hand. This isn't just difficult, it's dangerous too. Fortunately, Andy's one of the few people in the country who still knows how to do it.
To move that plate anywhere, we've got to have it hot, like red hot. And we've got to have it hot in the right places. And the two torches working together will put enough heat into the plate for us to bend it.
Axel will provide the muscle, smashing metal heated to over 1500 degrees into shape over a steel mould. Claire and Jerry will provide the heat, using powerful blow torches to keep the sheet steel glowing white hot.
To take your main rod and your eccentric off, you got
stages, Andy helps
little
to guide
bolts
Axel's blows with a copper drift.
that
The drift doesn't dent the steel as much as a big hammer and helps form
hold
the
it
final
on.
curves.
That whole bottom plate comes off.
After 3 hours of fire and sweat, the side of the tender is complete.
I reckon that's the first one.
And then the whole bottom end comes off.
Looking pretty good. What more can we ask? Cold beer?
Now you might have got the impression that this difficult and dangerous work is not really my style, and you'd be right. So each week while the salvage squad take their lives in their hands, I'll be off trying to find out as much as I can about the history of the machines. Steamrollers don't have the most exciting image. They don't do much, and they do it
Get some
painfully slowly.
cleaning solution.
But they played their part in building the world we know today. Wherever you drive a car, in Newcastle, New York or New Delhi, an Evelyn and Porter steamroller probably helps smooth the way. Over the years,
Clean your
Evelyn and Porter built
running gear, your side rods.
6,100 steamrollers. Collins is only one of 200 or so to survive. Most were bought by contracting firms such as W.W. Bunker, who owned Hercules. Those firms then hired them out, complete with driver, to councils and road builders, who used their massive weight to flatten the roads, which were then spreading throughout the length and breadth of Britain. We know our steamroller was ordered by W.W. Bunker of Highbridge in Somerset, So we've come to visit a member of the Bunker family who still lives in the area. Well, I've got the original, well it's not the original, it's a copy of the original order book here, and I've got on here W.W. Bunker. Now you're Gerald.
Yes.
Bunker, so who is W.W.?
He was my grandfather. He was a mastermind, and he, I suppose, thought that roads are going to be the thing of the future.
Yeah.
And if I purchase these steamrollers, I'll hire them out.
Then you've got
different counties
3
throughout. Yes,
bolts
yes.
that hold the
On their letterheading, W.W. Buncombe, they say that they
The
were the largest steamroller owners in the United
boiler.
Kingdom.
Was that true?
together.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were other companies that I can remember.
But you reckon they had the edge?
Well, I've got to say that, yes. Yeah.
Stick with it.
Yeah.
You can't mess with a family.
No.
You were the local mafia, weren't you?
Yeah.
Don't mess with a bunker because we'll run you over very slowly. Back in sunny Shepton Mallet, the squad are taking a break. They're psyching themselves up for the most difficult task of all. Hot riveting the parts of the tender together.
That was hot. That was unreal. Oh. It was like ice on there, man. I was managing to my boots. They melted.
You were doing a bit of flaming dance at one stage.
Yeah. I know.
Mind you, you don't think it wasn't hot on our side either.
Listen, it was hot. Every side she was staring at me. It was like ice. Honestly, I was banging and I could feel my feet slipping. I thought I was going to fall. But if you fall, your hands go down. Ouch. Do you know what I mean? But I don't really want to do that again.
Shaping steel with blowtorches and hammers is what health and safety officials call dangerous. Joining the metal together with white hot rivets is what they call certifiably dangerous. Rivets held the empire together, be it steam boilers in Sheffield or battleships in Singapore. Hot riveting caused more accidents than any other engineering trade. But we haven't told the squad that yet. We're just 2 days into the salvage squad's 10-day challenge to try to restore Hercules the steamroller in time to reunite her with her owner at the Great Dorset Steam Fair. The parts for the new tender are now complete, and the squad are temporarily bolting them together, ready for the scariest job of all, hot riveting. Hot riveting was the welding of the Victorian age. A white hot rivet is inserted into a hole drilled between 2 plates which are to be joined together. Then powerful pneumatic hammers work together to flatten the head. The key to hot riveting is the fact that as the rivet cools, it pulls the 2 plates together, so tightly that even steam cannot escape. It's a team job, and Claire will call the shots.
There you go, that's the rivet done. Shot. And the snap bits off the back.
Right.
There's nothing to hold that in. So if you pull the trigger and you're not up against something, it'll come flying out.
Let's put it right.
There you go.
Rivet up.
Yeah,
Ready, steady, go. Together.
yeah, together.
I want it. Yeah. Yeah, let's do that.
Right.
Good. Riveting isn't just hot, it's loud. The sound of a rivet gun is as loud as the sound of a jet plane. Timing is vital. If Jerry fires his gun too soon, the rivet will fly straight through the hole and into Axel's chest. In which case, earmuffs won't be much good. Until 150 years ago, roads were bumpy and dangerous. Evelyn and Porter's steamrollers changed all that. Thomas Evelyn made the first traction engine in 1859, and just 7 years later, Evelyn and Porter unveiled the first steamroller at a demonstration in London's Hyde Park. The new machine was a roll-away success. By the 1870s, Evelyn and Porter steamrollers had filled the potholes in 17 British cities, rolled the road runs through New York City's brand new Central Park, and we're helping to drive a passage up the notorious Khyber Pass. With the tender complete, the next big task is to clean and paint the other 1,999 parts.
Yeah, that engine was dirty.
David and Porter E-Type.
Gotta get a rag. Be right back.
Colin, meanwhile, is getting on with his day job, driving tankers around the farms of Somerset. But what he really dreams about is driving Hercules.
There's nothing quite like driving your own engine. You can drive other people's, but it's not. There's something about it that's not the same. The attachment and joy of it is that if somebody said to me, "Clear, Colin, you can't take that engine out again, can't drive it," I said, "Well, you just will cut my legs off because I should be lost without the engine, and I should be just as lost without the legs."
The squad is putting the finishing touches to the last of Hercules 2000.
Okay. I even got a bowl of water to put the plastic tender shell in it.
It's proved to be pretty sound. Just had to get rid of all the surface rust that was on it and give it a new coat of paint, which has come up really well.
The new tender has come up a treat too.
This is the same bit of metal you saw me bashing that big hammer earlier. These are all the curves that we've got into it. The lovely curves here, and all round here. When we use that former. These are the rivets that we put in to hold the water in. And it's got a little coat of green in it. Now the tender's done, we're going to have to connect it to the back of the machine. It's a bit of a balance in that because it's so heavy and it looks like copped on these boards, but we'll get there. Should be done soon.
Now for the fun bit, putting it all together. The squad start by connecting the newly built tender to the boiler and firebox.
Off we go.
Once the tender is lined up to the holes in the firebox, it's simply a matter of sliding in the bolts and tightening them up.
Oh, if you're wondering about the other talking, that's my computer.
Always one awkward one.
I'm watching the show called Salvage Squad.
He's alright. He's alright. Sound as a pound.
Okay, mate. I believe it.
He's blocked out well.
Clean tender shell.
Everyone a winner. So we could say, in Somerset, the jobs are good. Yes.
She's going to look really rather good when she's finished. And now you can actually see she's almost becoming a vehicle. There's somewhere for you to stand when you're stoking. There's something there for you to put your coal that you're going to throw in the fire. And this is where the water goes, in the back, so you can put it into the boiler to turn it into steam. So it's all starting to come together. It's going to be alright.
Time to fit the rear rollers. If you've ever stood on the hard shoulder trying to change the rear wheel on a car, you'll know how cumbersome they can be.
Keep an eye on me, Jerry, just in case it starts going downhill.
But try changing a wheel that weighs as much as a car.
Now the trick is, like, take that size and lift. Okay, more. About 3 or 4 clips.
All right, clean undercarriage of the bottom of the boiler.
Go on, lads. That's it. Let's go.
Yes! 2 hours of grunting and the rear rollers are on. Until the steamroller came along, flattening the roads was hard manual labour. This new technology cut the cost by 3/4. But the steamroller really came into its own with the invention of another wonder on wheels, the bicycle. Bicycles don't much like potholes, and soon hordes of top-hatted and frock-coated cyclists were lobbying local councils for better roads. thousands of miles of new asphalt roads were laid, and before long, Buncombe's were employing more than 150 drivers all over the country. But a maximum speed of 8 miles per hour meant popping home for lunch wasn't really on. As a result, rolling roads became more than just a job, it became a way of life.
The interesting part with this photograph is that the driver had a living van and a water car.
What's the living?
The living van here is the husband with the wife and the child.
Yeah.
They lived in the living van.
So the driver would tow more or less like a caravan
It
would
would,
behind him.
yes.
And they'd live
As a family.
on the road.
Yeah. Oh yes. Yes.
Wherever I lay my tarmac, that's my home. Britain's road builders lived a gypsy life, travelling in caravans towed by 10-ton steamrollers from Cornwall to Caithness. It couldn't have been very luxurious, all living in one van like that. Still, the family that rolls together stays together.
Wouldn't know if there's any of the original drivers knocking about.
Well, yes. Bill Harvey, he drove for Buncombe's for a number of years.
So you got his address, yeah?
Yes, you'll go and see him. Yeah, he'd like that.
Excellent.
Yes.
The squad are bolting onto the front of the boiler, the giant casting, shaped like a nose, which holds the front rollers in place. It's known as the headstock.
Where's the gun time?
I know this, man. I'm not going to check him again. Axel is living proof that the British steam engineer is alive and well.
With the headstock in place, they can now fit the front rollers. First up, the half-ton forks have to be pushed into the headstock.
Right. Oh, lovely.
The forks poke through the headstock and are held in place by a crane, while the squad roll the two 1-ton rollers into place.
Getting the handrails set up. And yes, this is an old locomotive.
Next, they have to slide in the huge metal bar that forms the axle.
Are you going to put that in there or what? I think that's near enough, don't you?
Wheels are on, guys.
Hercules is beginning to look like she did when men like Bill Harvey were rolling Britain's roads in the years between the wars. Bill is the last man still alive who drove for the Buncombe's in the days of steam. He retired in 1984 after 50 years with the company.
I started with my father. Father was driving for him.
Oh, right.
And we started up in Derbyshire. We were moving rollers about up there. I lived in a van.
In a van?
Yeah, in one of the living vans.
Is this thing that you tow behind?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people had their wives and families in the caravans, you know, in the living van. But it was all right. You had a stove in there and the bunks and the cupboards. And they used to supply with frying pan and teapot, kettle, buckets and all the utensils. See?
Did you ever work on our 144?
No, I went up to Suffolk Wire and put new back wheels on them once. But I never used it.
This horse here, up here, Bill, that looks like the one we've got on our roller.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's the Able badge. It's the Kent coat of arms.
So where'd you get that one from?
It's a present from the boss.
Lovely.
Yeah, from Norman. Norman Wilson gave me that.
This engine hadn't been cleaned
And from the outside, Hercules
in
looks a lot
forever.
like a steamroller. But if she's going to do any rolling,
So
she
that's
needs
why
an
I'm
engine.
kind of
So how does a lump of coal
focusing on
turn
cleaning
into
it
a 10-ton monster
before-
like this? The firebox heats the steam in the boiler, creating pressure. The pressure expands in the cylinder, which sits on top of the boiler, pushing the piston in and out. The crank attached to the piston turns the in-out movement of the piston into the circular motion of the flywheel, and the flywheel drives the wheels of the steamroller. Now all the squad have to do is to make it work. The cylinder is already bolted onto the top of the boiler. The crank and flywheel assembly itself weighs a ton. It has to be pushed into position so Jerry can fit the connecting rods which will bring Hercules to life. All of Hercules' 2,000 parts were finished by hand.
That's it.
And will only fit together one way.
At the time this was built, when you were a fitter, it was a job to be really proud of. It was a proper profession.
Okay.
You've got to have the right bolt, and the right hole, and the right nuts on even. And they're all marked up with letters. This one I'm doing is letter B.
Alright.
Little B on my nut. Because this wants to run that smoothly. Even when that's pulled tight, it should run like that.
It's taken Jerry 2 whole days of painstaking work to rebuild Hercules' engine. But now he's done, he's coming back to life.
What a lovely noise. It's breathing, it's alive. Oh, it's wonderful.
But there's a lot to do if we're going to keep our promise to Colin and reunite him with Hercules at the fair.
I don't know how I'm going to react. It will be a shock. It'll be sort of like a member of the family you thought you lost years ago, and then suddenly they appear out of nowhere. I hope the shock won't be too much, but you never know.
With just 3 days left, the squad faced their toughest challenge yet, restoring Hercules' clapped-out steering system. Hercules is steered by an ingenious system of mechanical reins. A chain runs from one side of the front rollers round the spiral drum, called the steering scroll, and down the other side. As the steering wheel turns the scroll, it pulls one side of the chain tight and loosens the other, pulling the roller right or left, just like the reins on a horse. But the problem the squad had is that years of use have meant the steering scroll has gradually worn away at one.
Alright, well, since nobody's watching this, I'm just going to
The
stop.
hole is too big and the end of the scroll no longer fits tightly inside. Jerry has to machine the bracket so that the hole is once again a perfect fit for the end of the steering scroll. He has to start by making the hole inside the bracket even bigger, removing 80 years of wear and tear. Then he has to make a new, perfectly